Okay, it's been a little while since I have made a video, and I changed the name of my YouTube channel because I wanted to talk about things other than tarot, and then I never did. So today I'm going to talk about a few things. And one of the things I wanted to talk about on this channel more are the books I've been reading or read. And I don't want to be a booktuber, but I do really enjoy reading. And since, I guess, end of last year, the very beginning of this year, I've made a more concerted effort to read books, novels especially. I kind of stopped. So I've picked it up again, and I'll read usually a bit in the morning or during my lunch hour, which is a full hour. So I've been reading quite a bit. And the last thing I finished is a book called Bunny by Mona Awad. And I was describing this book to a friend of mine because I really enjoyed the book. And I told her, don't read this book because she can't really handle any violence or gore, and it is quite gory. The violence is barely off camera, and if you ever watched the movie Pulp Fiction, you might know what I mean, which is that you never see the actual violence, but you do see the immediate blowback, and kind of literally, at least in Pulp Fiction. And that's how Bunny is. And so what Bunny is about, it's about a young woman named Samantha who is attending or participating in this Masters of Fine Arts writing program at an elite New England college. Now, I attended college in New England, and I work at a college here in New England, but they're state schools, so I don't think they're elite. So I don't really know what an elite New England college is supposed to be. Mona Awad attended Brown, which is in Rhode Island, which is in New England, so maybe it's something like that. So this girl is in a MFA writing program with 4 other young women her age who are close friends, these other 4 girls. And they call themselves the Bunnies, and they call each other Bunny as a nickname. I guess much as you might call your friends Sweetie or Darling or whatever, they just call each other Bunny. And they kind of draw Samantha in, even though she is such an outsider. They are all they're almost like fully formed out of the marshmallow chick candy that you get at Halloween. They're soft, they're pastel, they wear pink cardigans and flowers on their dresses, and she's sounds like a goth chick. I kind of pictured her as Winona Ryder's character in Heathers. So they draw her in, and things get real weird real quick. And there's a twist at the end, which I had kind of knew. I had heard what the twist would be. So I knew, and for a while as I was reading this, I was like, oh, I know. But by the time I got to the end, I was glad I knew, because I would never have figured it out. I would have just been lost. And this book I think it's categorized as horror, but which I don't pick up usually. I would call it surreal more than horror. And in the parlance of kids these days, I think it would be called dark academia. It's very dark. It takes place in academia, and it's at an elite New England school, which seems to be the only place that dark academia can take place. So that's the book I just finished. I do actually recommend it if you like things that are a little weird, a little out there, kind of surreal. Just be warned that there's some gore and animal harm. I think that's what's happened there. So after I put that down, and I should say I usually have 2 books going, one that I keep here at home and one that I keep at work. And I work at a university, so there's a library. And if you ever pick up books from your university library, they tend to, they look like this. There's no jacket. There's no Nothing, no blurb inside of it or anything. So I picked up Memoirs of Montparnasse by John Glasgow. I guess I'm about exactly 1/3 of the way through it. I'm not loving it, but I'm not hating it. It's fine. I'm gonna finish it, I think. Probably. He's a little bit of a cad, John Glasgow, who, it's a memoir. It's probably highly fictionized. And what I should not have done, but what I did, was that I read about the book and I read about him after a couple of chapters in. I was like, oh, what's going on with this guy? I don't know too much about him. And this book was published in, I want to say 1968 or so, right on the heels of Ernest Hemingway's memoirs of Paris in the 20s, A Movable Feast. So it kind of soured me a little bit. It was like, oh, what's he doing? He's just riding on the coattails of Hemingway. Hemingway makes an appearance in here. It's highly unlikely that John Glasgow met Ernest Hemingway. I haven't really looked too hard to see if the meeting that they have is probable, you know, if Hemingway was in Paris at the period that John Glasgow is. I don't know. Maybe I'll look it up later if I have time. The other thing that I like to do, especially about books that take place in Paris, is as places, as streets, as addresses are mentioned, I'll go onto Google Maps and look at them, kind of walk around and things like that. And like he mentions addresses and I was like, there's no such address. But of course this takes place almost 100 years ago, so maybe there was that address there. Or he describes things and I look at it and it's like, this just doesn't seem right. So I'm just gonna, I think I'm going to approach it as I would approach a book of fiction. Typically, I like my historical fiction or any fiction that takes place in a real place to be properly set, you know, properly placed in the setting. I don't want to see, you know, I don't know, things made up about real places. I don't really like that. It bothers me. So that's what I'm working on now. And then I'm going to be on a bus trip soon. So I'll go grab it since I have the actual book. Circe by Madeline Miller. So this is my frame. I'm using my camera backwards, my phone backwards. I'm going on the belief that, you know, that's the better picture quality. I don't know. But anyway, this is my travel read, Circe by Madeline Miller. A friend of mine gave me the paperback, so I was like, oh, this should be light enough to have in my bag without feeling bogged down. And I'm kind of looking forward to it. I'm a little nervous again because I really do love the idea of ancient Greece, the gods and the goddesses, the spirituality, things like that. So I'm really hoping it's well written. We'll see. My friend read it as part of this book club that I did used to be a part of, and I don't always trust my friends, or those friends' picks. I've had good recommendations from my specific friend, so we shall see. On the tarot front, not a ton happening. I picked up, probably in the spring now, the Rose Tarot by Nigel Jackson. Comes with this book, and I started to sort of study it, I guess. I just drew a card, and it's been a little while now, but I think it was the Five of Pentacles. How is this organized? Three of Swords, Five of, okay, so it's organized by suit. Sometimes these things are organized by the number. So all the numbers, you know, you have the Five of Coins, the Five of Wands, five all together. But not this one. No, I guess it wasn't the Five of Coins. So I decided to sit down and try and study this tarot. It's supposed to be an a hermetic tarot. I should have just bought the Hermetic Tarot, but I bought this one. I like the illustrations quite a lot. I like the color. They're fairly busy, but they're not as busy as the Hermetic Tarot seems to be. And Spirit Keepers is right out. So, but sometimes the book doesn't really, parts of the book seem to be kind of word salad. So we'll see. But mostly what my approach to this is to simply kind of figure out this, or learn about the symbolism of the, in the Hermetic system. Maybe it was the Fool I drew. I don't know. But I really like this deck. It's really very lovely. I love the colors, and I love the illustrative quality of it. I love the setting, like the garden here and the Empress. Yeah, it's a beautiful formal garden. What else we got here? You never with the we get into the pips here, into the minor arcana. Here's the Ace of Cups, which is a little bit Marseille-ish to me. Let's see what else we got here. Well, they're kind of like halfway between being pips and being illustrated. So as you can see, this is very interesting. The Six of Cups has, the 6 cups, and then a small scene in here of a woman petting a unicorn. And the woman almost seems to be full of, seems to be wearing an outfit of green leaves or hair or something. It's hard to tell. Hopefully the book offers a little insight, or maybe a magnifying glass will offer some insight. We'll see. But I think I'm going to enjoy this once I get going on it. What else? So I had a couple of books on my want to read list that I was having trouble finding, considering that I work at a university with a university library. It wasn't there. It wasn't in neither of them. We're in my university library, which I wouldn't expect because they're popular books, or in my public library, which is a pretty good library, and they weren't in the little indie bookstore downtown. But today I went to the used bookstore downtown, and I should take these tags off, otherwise I'll dox myself. There we go. So this is Before the Coffee Gets Cold by Toshikazu Kawaguchi, and it's kind of about a cafe where you can meet up with anybody who has died, but you only have enough time to talk for as long as the coffee is hot, and when the coffee gets cold, I guess they have to go. So I'm looking forward to it. It might be a tearjerker. I don't know. And the other one is by another Japanese author, Haruki Murakami, 1Q84. I'm nervous. It's big. It's big. How many pages is this monster? It's huge. 1,157 pages. That's like 5 books. 4 books, maybe. Wow, this makes up for it, I guess. How long is this one? Less than 300 pages, and the print's pretty big, so we'll see. How long is Circe? That's kind of just regular size print, and it's like 400-ish pages. It is not quite 400 pages, 385 pages. I gotta get reading. Oh my word. So those are what I'm working on. Oh, I got another book from the library, but it's underneath the camera here. And it is Death in Her Hands by Ottessa Moshfegh, who I really like. And I've seen a lot of love-hate for her. The first thing I read by her was Eileen, which I don't know if it's her first novel or not, but it's early. And I loved it. I think I read it in 1 or 2 sittings. It's not long. And one of my friends from that book club who has never steered me wrong suggested it. So I read that. It's been a couple of years. And then my book club read Rest and Relaxation by her, My Year of Rest and Relaxation, which I think I was the only one who really liked it. It's the woman, the main character, is doing a lot of drugs. And at the time, there was a lot of concern with the opiate crisis. So everyone sort of felt uneasy about the fact that this main character is doing a lot of drugs and there was no comeuppance for her. That's actually something I kind of like. I feel like when someone does something bad and they get punished for it in a book or a movie, sometimes it's too easy because people do lots of awful things and they pay no price. It just happens. So I liked that book a lot. I think I read it on Audible. I listened to it, which I've done a lot in the last couple of years because it gets me walking. So I'm looking forward to Death in Her Hands by Ottessa Moshfegh. I'll probably read that next week. So I'm gonna read Circe on my trip. I'm thinking I was thinking of bringing Before the Coffee Gets Cold. It's small and it's light, but I think that this will keep me occupied. It's just a bus ride. I'm not going to the beach or anything. So that's all I have for you now. I hope to be able to do this more regularly. I really enjoy it, and I just kind of want to share some of the things I'm doing that I think are pretty cool. And I think the books I'm reading are cool. I think my new tarot deck is cool. If anyone has any ideas about good books or websites where I can delve into the Hermetic symbolism, let me know. I was having trouble kind of finding stuff online. I don't have any books that really go deep into the Hermetic symbolism, so I do need to find it. Anyway, thank you so much for joining me, and we'll talk later.